Hey beautiful, great to have you back. Don't miss out on any episode. Follow me on Facebook where you will receive additional information. Just look for Tita May, and for now I wish you a lot of inspiration. Aloha dear ones, and welcome to today's episode of I Am Aloha. Wow, these weeks have been very interesting again, with a lot of ups and downs, or let's put it this way, a lot of mirrors being shown. On one hand, like really bringing emotions to the surface that have been hidden for a long time. But on the other hand, also a lot of beautiful things happening at the same time. Getting more connected and I don't know, finding people or like the universe is bringing people together that belong together. So that's something very nice. But to go into more details, maybe I'll start with my updates for my personal stuff. I finally managed to book my flights. So I'm all set to fly to Florida in November and then go on to Nicaragua from there by the end of November. And then stay there until almost the second half of April, and then have another like 3 weeks in Ecuador before I come back to Germany in May. So that's very exciting for me, because I thought it would be a lot more stronger for me feeling wise, like, wow, I have the tickets booked now, so it's like it's really becoming real. But so it was really weird. That wasn't that bad. It was like, I'm really excited for it. I'm looking forward to do the whole thing. So I know that there's a part of me that's already done that and is already happy to do that. But then on the other hand, I have, for example, today, because I have typical Bavarian bonsais, I always call them, because those are, I wanted to have bonsais that actually live in this climate. So 12 years ago together with my dad, we found little, like samplings of typical Bavarian trees or German trees. And I started doing bonsais out of them, and it's really beautiful, and they're 12 years old, and I love them a lot. But of course, I can't take them with me. And those are like really one thing that I want them to be in a good place. And thankfully, my sister actually said that she would take them. And today she came over and she actually took one of the trees and said, "Oh, he's not that heavy. I'll carry him over to my place right away." So that really felt weird. That really like got something moving there. I know she's going to take beautifully care of my trees, and she's going to be good to them and everything. So I'm not really worried about that part. But still, that was for me more challenge. Not challenging, but it was more. It made me feel a little bit more like, okay, no, this is like really becoming real. I'm leaving this, and but it was interesting because it didn't take long. I mean, I'm still going to allow myself to how do you say, like, to be sad that I'm leaving these special beings that have been with me for the past years, because it's not just them as plants. I have way more plants, and some of them have been with me over 18 years, and I'm going to have to give them up, and it's okay. But because I think the first step was done today, so that was interesting in this whole process of letting go. Another funny or interesting thing is my dad found some emails and faxes and letters that we wrote to each other 20 years ago when I just moved to Germany. I haven't touched it yet. I haven't touched it yet, but I think that's going to happen at a point where I'm going to take that and, I don't know, like just enjoy being there and having this possibility of being able to do this flashback into that time. That's going to be interesting. So yeah, that's on the letting go part. As for my projects, my German projects, I'm coming. How do you say? I'm working on them pretty good, and interestingly, one project was feeling kind of pushed too fast, so I moved the deadline, and that feels better now. I just feel very good about it. I'm still working on it and doing my stuff and my things. But it just feels good to have that deadline a little bit loosen up. And weirdly, as usual, if you have this pressure point, once you loosen that up, it just starts flowing again. And it's interesting because I've come further than I thought. So that's a good point. Another thing with my whole process, and maybe I think that's going to be the topic I'm going to talk about right now, because that happened. Like, if I see on an energetic level, we had 2 portal days in June on 12th and 14th. So those kind of like brought up a lot of emotions. And now we had the summer solstice, and we're having a new moon this Saturday, or on June 24th, I think. And these are bringing up another a lot of new beginnings, but also going back to what you feel like you want to do, you know, like being back in your center, in your field, and looking at things. And I find it interesting because I mean, it's not easy. I'm not going to say it's easy, but I find it very interesting that these energies bring up so much stuff, like this whole looking at yourself, and especially looking at things that were put inside of you, like seeds from your childhood or from further before that. And it's interesting what kind of fears come up, because I believe, I mean, my main thing, like if I would say one of the things I'm really good at is like overcoming fears, because I managed a couple of them. And I mean, it's not like, you know, like I recognize a fear and boom, it's gone. It's not like that. I'm not saying that, but I do know how to get rid of them, at least for myself. I know how to look at them, how to find out what they are, and then overcome those fears, and then still keep on moving. I mean, I've talked about that in other podcasts. But what I find interesting is, because I feel like I don't have that many fears anymore. I don't let them rule myself. And then suddenly I have people surrounding me talking to me about their fears, or not just talking, but, you know, like showing me their fears, having a lot of fears. And at first it's like, oh my God, this is like, how can you be in so many fears for the other people? And then I realized, oh no, this is being the mirror for me. This is like, it's showing me that either I still have those fears deeply inside of me, or that I used to have those fears and I haven't harmonized that time for myself. And I think it's a thing of both. For me, like looking at the fears that have come up in the past week, especially in the past week, for me it feels like there's still some fears that I have that run way back, that have been inside of me like little seeds from my childhood or before that. And on one hand, and also on the other hand, really like not being in harmony with myself for having fears. You know, like judging myself too harsh to say, oh my God, you're so weak because you have those fears. You know, like I'm not saying that I say that, but it feels like that my subconscious has this judgment over myself about it. So that's what comes up with others. So that's pretty interesting, because it's not, I don't want to be that I don't want to be judgmental at all. I mean, I prefer to accept everyone as they are, but I also see when I start being a certain way, I realize, oh, this is being the mirror for something. So I look at it and then I realize, this is like, it's still in there, and I still need to work on it, because that's emanating negative energy for myself. It's sending it out. It's making others, it's making my energy, my vibration lower because of it. So I have to work on it, and it helps. It really does help to like really let go and say, like realizing that you still have those fears. And it's just dawning to me even more that there's so many ways of hiding fears in our lives, and it's still there. And it's like, once we go into this complete trust of things, that we trust that no one will treat us wrong, that we trust that we're not going to be like, to tell you the truth, one of the fears that has come up in the past couple of days is that to have someone steal something from me. And that fear is very interesting, because I know this is an old pattern that has been implemented inside of me since I was little. Because I come from as you know, maybe you know, from I'm half Latina, half German, and also my Latin American side has a lot of Chinese inside. So, but I grew up in Latin American countries, in a couple of them, and in Germany. So I know how secure Germany is, but I grew up in countries where it's normal to be robbed at some point or another. And I remember that I actually lost my favorite doll to someone who stole it, because I left it in the car, and they broke into the car and stole those dolls. So, and not just the dolls, just a couple more things that my family had left in the car. So, when I was a little girl, but I know that there were a couple more incidents like that. Never harmful, it's just about stealing stuff. And somehow that is so deeply penetrated inside of me, not being able to trust that it's going to be fine and I'm not going to be robbed. If I trust in the universe, everything is going to be fine. I'll be able to be fine and not to be robbed. So that's interesting, like, because sometimes I see people, like being here in Germany, that I see people that are afraid of something happening to them, or someone treating them wrong, like if you have an accident or something with someone's car, like car accident where nothing bad happens, but you smashed someone else's car and now the insurances have to pay, and then everyone's afraid, like, I have to do this and this and that because otherwise they're gonna take advantage of it or something, so that's having a fear. And it's the same like having a fear of, like, oh, I can't leave the window open in the car because it's going to get robbed. I mean, I'm not saying that you're going to be having your car windows open all the time, but I believe that if we trust that there's nothing going to happen, no one is going to steal anything, that's not going to happen. If you don't expect it, because if you expect things and you have them in your head, that if I do this and that will happen, then of course it will happen. And that's the thing about changing the way we think, to not let fears overrun us. Because that's another thing, and that's how we can actually overcome a lot of fears, by just changing the way we think about things. And I always imagine for myself, I see, like, I try to see things as energy. And if I am emanating fearful energy, that's going to attract someone that's going to steal things from me. And if I emanate love and trust in people, then that's what's going to happen to me. I'm going to find people that I can trust and love. So that's one thing. Wow. Thank you guys that I can do this podcast with you, because I just realized that basically the fear that was showing to me was that emanating this old fear from my childhood, but actually just being that if I keep that in my thoughts. And that brings me to the other point that I also wanted to talk to you guys about, is because right now manifesting things is way bigger. So it's so much more important to keep our thoughts in line. So this rounds up what I was just telling you, that if you have thoughts of fear, then that's what you're going to be attracting. So try to bring your thoughts into a positive wave, and then you will attract positive things. And that's how manifestation works. It's not just, like babbling something positive. It's also really feeling it, like really sitting there and just imagining how you're already where you're supposed to be. That's how it works, and that's how our thoughts work. And if they work like that in positive things, now imagine every time you have a bad thought, what happens, what energy you're emanating into the outside world. And wow, that's so interesting. That's so amazing. And it just reminds me of a cartoon I saw once of this guy standing like at the bus station waiting for his bus to come. And you see like bubbles of his thoughts, right? And he's thinking on one hand, oh, my girlfriend doesn't love me. She does this and that, and that's why she doesn't love me. And then my boss, he doesn't appreciate me. He keeps pushing me and doing a lot, giving me more jobs, and he never says thank you. And I don't even get paid well, and my friends don't like me anymore. They're all gone, and they don't want to hang out with me anymore. So you see those three bubbles, and then you see behind him a small angel sitting there with a notepad and going like, okay, bad boss, bad girlfriend, bad friends. Oh my God, this guy keeps asking for it. So it's like this angel is taking the order and reading the thoughts of this person. And because this person is just thinking about all the bad things those people are telling them, that's what he's ordering. So that's what the angel or the universe is going to give you. And I find that picture so amazing because it's so true. It's so true. If we keep putting our energy into that, then that's what we're going to get. And that's what happens with fears as well. So our fears are emanating and they're putting out this negative energy, and that's what we're going to get. So that's the interesting thing about really, really getting this, like really realizing what am I being shown as a mirror, and what is it giving to me, like what is it bringing, what is it showing to me? Like in my case, the thing with the trust, it's just, I want to trust the universe way more than I'm already doing. And apparently there's still little sides of me that have this mistrust. So I need to get into that. And I'll keep on doing that. So yeah, that's from my side. I don't know how it is with you guys and your fears. So if you have, I'd love to hear your stories of fears and how you overcome them. So if you'd like to just send me an email or a comment or like a review for this podcast, whatever you prefer as a contact confirmation. No, how do you say? Communication possibilities. There are so many. And I hope that I was able to give you some inspiration on how to look at your changes, I would say, like this, or your challenges of life, like how they mirror ourselves and what we do about it. Yeah, and with this, I'd like to leave you off into a new moon weekend. Enjoy. If you can, tell the new moon what you want to build up for the coming weeks, and I know that the moon will be able to help you and will help you. And have a lot of blessings and enjoy the summer, enjoy the love. And if you're on the southern hemisphere of this earth, I hope you're able to enjoy the winter time as well and just have a great time. Love you a lot. Big hugs. Thanks a lot for tuning in again. I hope you were able to get some good takeaways for yourself. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave a review. And if you'd like to receive some more inspirational information, sign up to Tita May's Weekly Inspiration, which will be coming soon. You can find the link on my website, www.titamayola.com. I'm looking forward to inspire you some more, and until then, aloha mahalo, e ho'o mai kai kako, e ahui ho. A loving thank you from the heart, a lot of blessings for everyone, and hear you again next time.